What is going on, everybody? It is me. It is your old pal, the original gamer, StevieStrow, and we are back for yet another exciting chapter. And getting started with Color Basic for the TRS-80 Color computer, also known as the COCO. We are moving forward here, and we are now on Chapter 6. Chapter 6 is called Decisions. And Chapter 6 is going to introduce us to some more commands in the basic language, some more logic and everything else. You know what? And I don't even know why I'm wearing my headphones. I don't think any sound is taking place here. So let me take these things off. All right. So, yeah. So this chapter is called Decisions. Let me zoom in here real quick so I can read this a little better. And what are we talking about here? Okay, here's an easy decision for your computer. If you type red, then make the screen red, or if you type blue, then make the screen blue. Easy enough? Then have the computer do it. Type this program. Okay, so I've set the scenario, and now it's going to tell us the actual commands to make this happen. So the first command we're going to type is 10 print quote, do you want the screen red or blue, question mark, end quote. 20 input C string. So we're now going to input a variable that's going to be labeled as a string. 30 says if C string equals red, then we're going to go to line 100. 40 says if C string equals quote blue, then we're going to go to line 200. Line 100 says CLS 4. You don't necessarily have to put it in parentheses, but we'll do that. Line 110 says end, and the program will stop right there. Line 200 says CLS 3, and then because that is the last line, that will automatically end. Now what I need to make sure I have going on here again is I need to make sure my display in my VCC, my virtual color computer, is set to composite. It looks like it is. So let's try to run this program right now. When I run the program, it says, do you want to see the screen red or blue? If I type in red, it's red. If I run it again, it says, do you want to see the screen red or blue? If I type in blue, it's blue. Okay. So far, the program's doing what it says. And it says here, run the program a few times, type both red and blue as answers. What the program does, if you type in red, then line 30 sends it to line 100. Line 100 turns the screen red. Line 110 ends the program. And it says that the computer goes to line 110, it never makes it to line 200. On the other hand, if you answer blue, then line 40 sends your computer to line 200. Line 200 turns your screen blue. Since 200 is the last line of the program ends there. I think we can all agree that's exactly what happened, as explained, as demonstrated. So far, so good. So far, I'm with you, book. So far, book, you have not lost me. Now, what happens if you answered with something different from red or blue? Run the program again. This time, answer green. So let's try it. Let's run the program. And when it says, do you want me to make the screen red or blue? And I type in green, well, it made it red. And so why is that? Why did that happen? It has to do with the code, right? So if the condition is not true, the computer ignores the then part of the line and proceeds to the next line in the program. So it basically said if it's red, go here. If it's blue, go there. It was neither one of those, so it just kept going down to the next line of the program. The next line of the program was the line that turned it red anyways. There's a way to get this program to reject any answer but red or blue. These are two lines to add. You figure out where they go in the program. So we need to somewhere print in here, you must type either red or blue and go back to 20. So let's look at our program. Let's look at our program here. So after line 20, we have a 30. Okay, so I would say it's after line 40 actually. So I hear my cat whining outside the door there. So after line 40, line 40, line 30 and line 40 give us two decisions, go to 100, go to 200. If neither one of those conditions are met, line 50 is probably going to be the one that will say print, you must choose red or blue, and then 60 will go back to go to 10. That's probably going to do it. When I run it, do you want to see red or blue? If I type red, I get red. If I run it, if I type blue, I'll get blue. If I run it and I type in green, it's going to say you must choose red or blue. Do you want the screen red or blue? Orange, you must choose red or blue. So I believe that is what we were looking for. If I list out my program here, the line numbers to use would be line 50 and line 60. Those are the next ones because we're going by tens here. Those are the next two line numbers in order. Let's see if we did what the book expected us to do. So there we go. And according to the book here, hint, your line numbers must come after the computer has had a chance to test. The lines must come before the computer makes your screen red. So their suggestion is to use line 50 as I did and line 60. They actually said go to 20. I went to 10. Close enough. I went back and actually repeated the question. Line 20 just gives you the question mark prompt. Not bad, not bad. So here's the flow chart of your program. 10 prints the message. Do you want 10 prints the message here? Do you want the screen red or blue? It inputs your choice or your color. If you chose red, it then goes down to line 110. Oh, they're actually having us modify this now instead of ending to keep going back. Okay. Do-it-yourself program 6.1. After the program turns the screen to red or blue, have it go back and ask you how to type in red or blue again. So that is the, I misread that. I kind of got ahead of the question. So the do-it-yourself project, which we've now seen the answer to, is when it finishes, have it go back to 10. So let's go ahead and do that though. And we'll trace the paths here. So let's just continue what I was starting to say here. So line 10 says, do you want screen red or blue? Line 20, inputs. Line 30 says, if you choose red, go down to 100. 100 clears the screen with color code 4, which happens to be red, kind of burgundy. And then it goes back to the top and asks the question. If you chose blue, we follow the tracer path here. It goes to line 200. It clears the screen 3, which is blue. And then it goes back to 10, repeats the question. If you did not choose either of these two options here, if you didn't choose red or blue on line 30 or line 40, line 50 says, wrong answer, you must type in either red or blue, and then it goes back to 20, which then re-prompts you for a color. And then this one goes back, that one goes back. So we can see here we've got a lot of circling going on in our code, in our software, whatever you want to call it. So I need to switch back to the big picture here, and then let's try that. Let's list out our program, and let's try to match that crazy program on the screen there. I'm so confused with it all. I'm just going to type new and start over, and I'm going to retype the whole thing. So it's 10, print, quote, do you want the screen red or blue? Question mark, quote, 20, input C strings. Okay, 30. If C strings equals quote red, then go to 100. We don't have to put the word go to in there. 40 says if C string equals quote blue, then go to 200. 50 is our basically saying neither one of these conditions are met. So we're going to say print quote, please choose red or blue. 60 now says go to 20 without repeating the question. 100 is our first choice, where if we chose red for our answer, it would clear the screen to CLS 4, which happens to be red. 110 will go back to 10 to re-ask the question. 200 will clear the screen CLS 3, which is blue. And then 210 goes back to 10. So that's the updated version of the program it asked us to do. This is our do-it-yourself program here. So if I run it, do you want the screen red or blue? If I type in red, it'll turn it red. It goes back and asks the same question. If I type in blue, it'll turn it blue. It'll go back and ask the question. If I type in white, please choose red or blue. If I type in yellow, please choose red or blue. If I choose red, it works. If I choose blue, it works. So what we're looking at here is some real basic logic in our computer, and what this is known as is if and then, right? If this happens, then do that. If you see this, do that. If you hear this, do that. And so if and then is a very common way to do programming and make decisions based on certain conditions. You know, I'll give you a perfect example. When you're making a game, let's say you start off with 3 lives, and let's say your death is getting hit by something in Space Invaders. If a bomb lands on your ship, you've blown up. So I'm saying this in plain English, but the programming logic would be very similar. If my ship is hit, then my lives are deducted by 1. So if I start off with 3 lives and you hit me 1 time, I take away 1 life. Now I'm down to 2. If I get hit again, I lose a life, I'm down to 1. If I get hit again, I lose a life, I'm down to 0. If my lives are 0, then game is over. So these are some logic and how if and then can be used to make decisions in software, especially in games, which is what I want to do. I want to make a game here. So we're learning about this command, the if and then, and we can use it a lot of different ways. I use if and then to calculate high scores. If your score is greater than the high score, then the high score equals your score. Lots of different ways that we would apply this to the program that we want to write. So where are we going with this now? What's the next thing in this chapter? This is a relatively short chapter here. So this is actually the last page of the chapter. Rules of if, then, and go to. Let me zoom in on this a little bit bigger here, and let's see how this completes. If then is conditional. The computer branches only if the condition is true. Go to is unconditional. The computer always branches. Although this chapter is short, you've learned an important programming concept. You'll have the computer make decisions all through this book. Learned in chapter 6, basic words are if and then and end, right? So if this happens, then do that. We have go to, which jumps us around to different parts of the program. We've also introduced the word end. If we put end in the middle of our program, we basically say as soon as you hear the word end, you're just going to stop. You're going to end the program. And so that's what we learned in chapter 6. So if and then, very, very, very important commands, very important building blocks and cornerstones of logic and decision makings as we start to make games, which is my purpose and my goal of doing this series. You will see that if and then will be used quite a bit. We will be checking to see if a collision has happened. If you hit the wall, then you have collided, then you have lost a life. If you've lost all your lives, then the game is over. Lots of things like that. If you touch a certain color, that means you pick something up, then your score will increase. Lots of this logic takes place in video games, in computer games. So you'll see this used a lot. You've been introduced to it. I hope you enjoyed it. I have been the original gamer, StevieStrow, and we just finished chapter 6 in programming in basic on the color computer. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then give this video a like, give it a big fat thumbs up. If you got something you'd like to say, throw out a comment, let me hear it. If you're new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button and subscribe to this channel. And if you enjoyed it, why not share it with your friends? If you didn't enjoy it, then share it with your enemies. That's all I got to say. I will see you later. Keep on coding, keep on programming, keep on gaming. Long live the Cocoa. Cocoa forever. Peace out, everybody.